4-2. Tell you more about Mima Ito in a bit. Kasumi Ishikawa to start with the serve. Nice setup for the third ball attack. Nothing too fancy. Pendulum serve, classic. Third ball attack. Breaking a serve here, splitting the first 2 points. Not bad for Mima Ito. Should have advantage with her service. Checks the lights to make sure the high toss serve will be no trouble. Beautiful shot right down the line with the backhand. This is one shot that you'll see right-handed and left-handed players warm up sometimes before a match. The down the line shot, the parallel. Deceptive amount of underspin on this serve. Mima Ito leads 3-1. Clever idea, trying to side swipe it and leave it short on the forehand. Not an easy shot though. Well placed serve from Ishikawa. Going for that cracking flat hit forehand. After painting the corners here, has some opportunity, but at the first towel break of the game, it's tied up at 3 points each. Mima Ito lunges forward for that forehand. You know it's got a lot of pace on it, often wins rallies. It's going to be tough for Kasumi Ishikawa to keep it in play because there's very little rotation. Tough to block back. Here it is with the forehand flip kill. Again, little rotation right into the body. Quality push from Kasumi Ishikawa. Ito's shot finds the net as she plays with the edge of the racket there, cleaning the top sheet on the forehand rubber. Quality play testing Mima Ito's footwork, moving her from corner to corner. Mima Ito gets in strong earlier in the point, she's very tough to keep away from the table. Kasumi's going to have to be very specific with her first shots in the rally. Oh, excellent setup. Deep sweeping push to the backhand side. And the follow-up backhand counter out to the forehand. Look at it one more time. Almost a chop over the table. No chance at that second ball. Now this is smart, cautious play. Mima Ito makes a big shot out to the forehand side. It comes back into play. It's tempting to rush this ball and try to slap it. She slows it down, stops herself because she realizes Kasumi Ishikawa is going to get there. Nice change of rhythm. Sometimes putting on the brakes can be the most effective shot. Of course, they're both looking to get powerful, to play the attack where they can. Those low shots, very low bounce on that forehand rubber of Ishikawa. Ooh, the Chiquita coming around the outside of the ball. Mima Ito, that's difficult to read. Imagine, you have to figure out, even with inverted rubber, how much topspin and how much side spin is on this. Mima Ito's doing it with short pips. Ooh, what a recovery. Kasumi Ishikawa, I mean, not ready to throw in the towel. This ball looked like it would have bounced probably 10 times on the table if Ishikawa hadn't spilled out for it. When you're moving in to recover a net ball that quickly, to keep it so soft and short and win the point off of it, that's some skills. Strong placement, Ishikawa finds the middle, gets a bit of hesitation out of Mima Ito. So a 1 point lead for Ishikawa late in game one. deep push, and it's overlifted Ishikawa. We've seen her do this a few times. She's been quite expressive since yesterday. Foot stomp, another foot stomp, sort of reenacting Mima Ito's deep push. There's the positive head shake to get ready for the next point. Well-placed serve. And I like this serve from a right-handed player or a left-handed player, serving to an opposite-handed player. Fast and long into the backhand corner. You'll often get people out of position with that serve, but it takes a lot of practice. A much better response here. Mima Ito ready with the backhand. Thing is, a lot of players are tempted to turn the corner, which is why it causes so much trouble and leaves a big opening on the table. Again, the importance of having a confident backhand. Not to mention, with a fast, long serve, you don't need a big stroke. A short stroke, ball's going to come back even faster because of the fast serve coming in. Third towel break of the game. It's 9 points each. Outstanding points. Again, you've got the powerful shots. You've got spin as well. When Mima Ito hits it flat that hard, it's very difficult to return, and Kasumi Ishikawa gets it into play. Starts to gain control for just a moment. Mima Ito doesn't soften up. Game point to Ito. Oh, what a break off the top of the net. A dribbler that comes over. That might have been even shorter than the one Kasumi Ishikawa recovered. I didn't see if there was an apology there early on. Maybe I missed one earlier from Ito, but could just be the focus right now and determination. Typically, both players would apologize for such a break. Excellent shot, the wide angle step around forehand, a signature for left-handed players, including Kasumi Ishikawa. Comes out from time to time. After a long push deep to the backhand corner, that's tricky. It means full commitment, leaving open the table. Ito against game point. Oh, the backhand goes long. Kasumi Ishikawa takes game one at 12-10. We'll be back for game two in just a bit. Back for game number two, and it's a reverse of the last time they played, where Mima Ito won game one in deuce. From the start of game one, Mima Ito was causing some trouble with her fast pace of play. Backhands down the line, slap shots, flat hits and whatnot, but Kasumi Ishikawa has used her experience quite wisely. We see this many times where she starts off in a little trouble and makes adjustments to figure out her opponent's game. Nice opening backhand there from Mima Ito. Wow. For Kasumi Ishikawa to get that flat backhand back off the first net ball with the follow-up from Mima Ito. Here's one with the net, and then a punch shot a little bit more into the elbow. Very fast, aggressive shot. Tough one to play for a parallel shot. Deep and thought here. Again, the amount of focus these players have is just unbelievable. Tactically speaking, I mean, think about it. You're playing some of the best players in the world. People who are just almost unbeatable by other people's standards. You have to figure out what in your skill set you can use to make the game your own. Beautiful forehand from the back of the table. Ishikawa now up 4-2 at the first towel break. So a little bit about how Mima Ito got here. The second round of the main draw, she beat her teammate Saki Shibata 4-2. Saki Shibata, one of many up-and-coming young Japanese players. After that, Sakura Mori. That was the most dominant I've seen Mima Ito. She won 11-5, 11-3, 11-2, and 11-1. Then after that, she beat the short pips chopper Honoka Hashimoto 4-1. So in very impressive form here. Although loses the first game to Ishikawa. Again, it's been trouble, that forehand down the line, and you can see the awkward body positioning, the elbow of Mima Ito. Turns it over, tries to fan the hand down, just wrap over the ball. It's often an awkward shot. The recovery there off the top of the net. Ito hanging in there. Let's see one more time. That was just the very last few shots of the rally. Trying to find that balance between how much spin to keep on her backhands and how much to just rip it. Again, with those flatter shots, Mima Ito's been very successful in general. Most players can't deter, or I'd say set up the point well enough to keep her from making these shots. But Ishikawa's taken them away. With more spin, Ito has more security, but less threat. Wow! That first one was so strong. That's the most fist shaking I've seen from Kasumi Ishikawa. Probably several seconds of non-stop fist shaking action. Fist shaking, there we go. Look at that satisfaction after getting that hard opening shot back into play and then turning it around. This is struggle. This is Mima Ito looking for answers. Again, being as strong as Mima Ito is, but not being able to win points with some of your key ingredients, some of your main weaponry. A well-placed serve gets a point here. Just off the side of the table, dangling it off. Now Kasumi Ishikawa with 6 game points after a very closely contested game 1. This one could be a dominant game 2. And it sure is. 11-4. Kasumi Ishikawa looking sharp out here. Races ahead to game 3. 2-0 lead, and we'll be back for game 3 in just a minute. Back for game number 3, Kasumi Ishikawa in dominant form there in game 2. So far, she's won 23 points to a mere 14 for Mima Ito. This one does not come down very fast off the bounce. Ishikawa quite steady. Now, a lot of the details that might not be so obvious to outsiders a little newer to watching table tennis might not be very flashy, but the distance, the depth, and the timing, so many little subtle details that can make one player absolutely dominant over another. Ito should give a close fight to Kasumi Ishikawa, but Kasumi Ishikawa is working really hard to stay on top of the game. Ooh, back edge for Mima Ito. I think it was. Saw the apology there twice. Strong rally. Both players with fancy footwork out here. Quick movements side to side. So Ishikawa leading 2-1. It's 1-2, Mima Ito serve. So again, 3-1 right now for Kasumi Ishikawa. I think a lot of fans out there have friends who've asked them, how can somebody possibly beat you? You're the best player I've ever seen in my entire life. And then you think there are players that you can never beat, or maybe not never, but that you have not yet beaten in your life after several attempts. And that person has someone who's the exact same situation for them. That's what's happening sometimes. That's how many levels there are in table tennis. Even Dmitry Ovtcharov has never beaten Ma Long. Not for lack of tries either. More than 10 tries. So 5-1 right now. Kasumi Ishikawa is leading. Side of the table, that's Kasumi Ishikawa's point. Mima Ito says yes, that point goes down. Oh, they awarded it to Ito? Moment here of confusion for me. Interesting. A little bit surprised about that point. I thought Ito said it went down. Beautiful backhand, creating that wide angle, quick off the bounce. Not easy to do, especially from the middle of the table. Less of an opportunity there. Watch Ishikawa do this again. From a little bit on the backhand side. Excellent closed racket touch. It's not the first time we've seen Kasumi Ishikawa win a point off a net ball. Difficult ball, has to keep the racket relatively closed to touch it softly and keep the pressure on. So it's been back and forth a bit. Think about it earlier on. 5-1 for Kasumi Ishikawa becomes 5-3. Next 3 points in a row to Ishikawa. Again, the struggle continues for Mima Ito, looking for answers. A solid tournament to make it this far. But the next level where real growth comes from is beating Kasumi Ishikawa. We've seen it from Yu Hirano. Look at this ball. Wow, inside out spin. That one's hooking off to the forehand. Very subtle contact, swiping across the front of it. Long push. So quick with that wrist. Even in the replay, it's tough to see exactly what she does. But you could tell by the bend of the ball. Just putting that side spin on. Long way to go, but still it's not over until it's over. We've seen greater comebacks. Dmitry Ovtcharov was down 4-9 against Kirill Skachkov when he came back to win 15-13, which gave him the 3-2 lead. That match could have gone either way. Another inside-out forehand. Ito sending Kasumi Ishikawa into a timeout. That was pretty immediate. As soon as that ball went past, Ishikawa was like, yeah, I need a minute to think. Gonna have to regather my thoughts here, come up with some new plans. So many positive effects of the timeout, not just the opportunity to really think about your tactics and your plan, but also to ice the kicker, as they say. Someone's on a streak, getting hot, wants to just keep going, winning points. Slow them down. Maybe when they come back to the table, they forget what it's like to win point after point, lose a little bit of mojo. It does even the, or it can even the playing field a bit. Obviously, there are going to be different results, wide variety of outcomes to your timeout. And like always in table tennis, barriers love grabbing towels. It's the first time I've ever seen that. But I was going to say, in table tennis, even if you play better than before, you still might not earn the points because it also has to do with your opponent, how well they're playing. It's one nice thing to see players recognize. Benedict Ola loses a match and says, I'm thrilled. I played incredibly well today, and he knows that. Wow, the streak continues. An outright service point for Mima Ito right out of the timeout of Ishikawa. So now 9 serving 7. 4 points in a row. If I remember correctly, it was 9-3. Could be wrong either way. 2-point differential here. Not the second time, doesn't curve back enough. A backhand tomahawk chop. So the first tomahawk chop in the middle of the rally won. The second one takes a lot of strength to curve it back on. Such an awkward ball. Strong fight. Excellent point. 3 game points for Ishikawa. Such solid play from the backhand corner. Ishikawa very steady, and the timeout pays off. She takes the game 11 points to 7. We'll be back for game 4. It could be the last. Let's see who the champion will be and if Ito will extend the match or not. Game 4 coming up right after this. Back for game number 4, Ito to start with the serve, down 0-3, and Ishikawa continues her streak. Beautiful counter, and it doesn't phase Ishikawa. As strong as Kasumi's opening shot is, Mima Ito brings it right back with a punch. And a short stroke from Ishikawa, racket head up, balanced and ready. Again, the difference between professionals and others. They can recover, they can stay balanced. Reaction time so fast. Not sure if that caught the top of the net or not. It seemed like it did. I'm seeing a lot less apology out here than usual. I'm quite curious about that. After all these solid shots, Ito makes a nasty receive. I mean, this ball looks like essentially heavy side spin. The timeout here. But I mean, not a topspin side spin shot, but just straight side spin and fast. And then plays it out wide to the corner. And now she's down 0-4 in game 4. The crowd excited to see a comeback. Again, here in Bulgaria, there's a lot of club play and a lot of tournaments. But it's not so common that they get to see the top players in the world at the home court right here. Let's look at the Mima Ito racket. Short pips. See the sponge. About similar size to the pip length. And that little bit extra sponge there helps the ball sit on the rubber, sink in a little bit more so that Mima Ito can play with spin, can also play aggressively, as opposed to something with less sponge that'll slow down the ball a lot, less spring to it. Nice shot there, inside out forehand, fools Ishikawa, gets her going the wrong way. First point out of the timeout. So quick to turn too. You could see she had the racket up in backhand ready position. From a speed standpoint, if you think back to some of the highlights, the shots of the year and the nominations for the ITTF Star Awards, Kasumi Ishikawa has been there many times. With Liu Shiwen, at least that one point I remember with Liu Shiwen being quite impressively fast pace of play. This one's a bit too much. Ito backhand, right down the backhand side. Parallel shot with a lot of speed. Spin ball there. Aggressive, trying to find the middle, and then deeper to the backhand. Moving it around, looking for the holes. Steady opening Ishikawa. Again, touch game she's displayed so many times, recovering net balls, how she can keep the ball just perfectly where she wants, even under pressure and on the move. Again, right back down the line into the backhand of Ito. A 7-2 lead. I didn't expect this. The last time they played, Ito won game 1, was up 1-0, and then backed out of the match. And now the pressure, trying for a fancy serve. I think we all know that feeling when we're playing someone who's just destroying us and we try to dig a little extra deep for a serve that's out of our comfort zone. Just missing the corner. As fast as these quality shots are, the variety of shots from Ito, Ishikawa still very much in contention here with every ball. Still a very, well, quite, yeah, I'd say quite encouraging lead. 3 points away from a title, 5 points in front of her opponent, 3 games up. Does not come down on the right side of the table. It's Ishikawa who gets the point. Now up 9-3. No player in this tournament has put this much pressure on Ito to make her shots. The back edge of the table. Again, if it was, the fact that I haven't seen an apology yet, it's just fascinating. Maybe I missaw it, maybe it was a clean shot off the top of the table, but many times in this match, it doesn't appear to be the case. Maybe they signed an agreement to do away with apologies. Be surprising. 6 championship points for Kasumi Ishikawa here. Going risky for the long serve. Definitely has some play, some wiggle room. Ooh, tries again. 1 championship point gone. Still 5 more to go. These are the scores where in the past 2 players from the same national association, Wang Liqin and Ma Lin, would put on an exhibition point. And it's a quick one, 11-5. Kasumi Ishikawa in 4 straight games takes the match over Mima Ito. What a shocking performance, and I think the world needs to remember, even though Mima Ito's 16 and Kasumi Ishikawa's 24, Kasumi Ishikawa still has plenty of improvement ahead of her, has not peaked, is continuing to up her game and raise her level. When we think about threats to the Chinese women, we think about who's the best in the world and who is most likely to beat a Chinese player or be the strongest player from Japan. Don't count out Kasumi Ishikawa. This is one more demonstration that she is continuing to improve, and she is in outstanding form. Tight game 1 and then 11-4, 7, and 5. Kasumi Ishikawa is the 2017 ASRL Bulgaria Open Women's Singles Champion. And now the question is, who's it going to be on the men's side? With autograph there on the score sheet. Stick around.